Catherine Burster and her husband were absolutely devastated when their dog of 9 years passed away. The couple loved their dog dearly and considered him a part of the family. Since they were so close to their dog, they had no real plans to adopt again. Life, however, had other plans for them, and it all began with a Facebook post. Catherine Burster was scrolling through her Facebook timeline when she noticed a post that she couldn't ignore. The post came from the Animal Care and Control team of Philadelphia. The details in the post and the picture immediately intrigued her. The Animal Care and Control team of Philadelphia were in dire need of a forever home for 2 dogs. These were no ordinary dogs, as they were a pair of pit bulls that were incredibly bonded and could not be pulled apart into separate homes. While the organization was able to generate a lot of interest for the male pit bull, the same energy wasn't reciprocated for the female. As Burster scrolled through the comments, she quickly grew concerned about the dogs. As she continued to scroll through the comments, Burster knew that something had to be done. She began to consider all of the options and thought that she should take it upon herself to possibly be the person that would make a change in the dogs' lives. I was watching all of this play out on Facebook, and my heart was breaking all over again that these two, who clearly needed to be together, might be separated, Catherine told the Dodo. I sent the photo to my husband, and we talked about it for a few days, Catherine said. The couple was torn between the decisions. After all, the timing couldn't be worse. They were a bonded pair of dogs surrendered by their owner in March 2014. The day after they were surrendered to the shelter, our own dog of 9 years passed away. It was the worst time of my life, and my husband and I were destroyed, Catherine Burster told the Dodo. He was not just our dog, he was our child. We were absolutely not looking to adopt again anytime soon. The couple really wasn't ready, but at the same time, they felt like they couldn't just leave the dogs alone without care. Maybe a visit with the dogs was what they needed. The couple finally made their way over to the ACCT Philly shelter on March 14, 2014. There they met the 2 pit bulls and realized just how much of a connection all 4 of them had. The Bursters were absolutely in love. After spending some time with them, we knew we couldn't leave them behind, and we tearfully completed the adoption process, bringing them home that night, Catherine said. The Bursters adopted the 2 pit bulls and quickly gave them some new names. The dogs were now named Gus and Nina. They quickly adjusted to their new home. The pups were energetic and so much fun to be around, and the Bursters were super excited as well. I know now that Gus would have been a complete wreck without Nina. She's his comfort and his grounding, Catherine said. Catherine continued to describe the interesting relationship between the two. If he'd been adopted or fostered without her, he would have always been searching for her. Nina's a bit more independent, but she would have lost her play companion. The couple were now even more certain that they had made the right choice in keeping them together. It was 1000% worth it for us to keep them together, she added. And my husband and I are completely in love with them and can't imagine life without them. Finally, the dogs had a forever home where they would be loved and taken care of. It's been 3 years now since the pups were adopted. The Bursters are still just as happy with them as they were on the day they adopted them, and the family now feels complete. The 4 of them truly make a great family. They're now 7 and 6. They go running with us, hiking, and we're constantly trying to figure out new puzzles to stump them because they're both so smart, Burster said. The dogs are always having fun with the couple and playing along in all sorts of ways. They're really fun and funny and have different personalities, but they absolutely go together and are a pair, Burster added. The dogs do everything together, so the Bursters decided to document it for the world to see. The Bursters decided to create an entire Instagram page devoted to the pups. On the page, they upload photos of their daily activities with the dogs and their various playdates. While the dogs absolutely love running, they also love something else even more. Nap time is a great bond that the dogs share. These two absolutely love cuddling together on the couch. The Bursters often catch them cuddling in the cutest places together. Thanks to the Bursters, these 2 dogs now get to lead wonderful lives. Nina and Gus have found a home and parents that love them. They both are able to stay together, making it a truly happy ending for everyone.
This story was really incredible. but you will like the next one more.
Pet store owner tells veterinarian to put down defective puppy, but the vet refuses. Our story starts when Dimitra Malassi, who is the co-director of Social T's Animal Rescue, heard an interesting conversation while sitting in the vet's lobby. A man walked in with a white chihuahua in his hands and told the doctor he needs to put her to sleep. Hearing this, Dimitra was terrified and knew that she needed to do something about it. He told the vet that the dog was defective and wanted her to be put to sleep, said the man who brought this little chihuahua in. As if things couldn't get even worse, Dimitra found out that this wasn't the first time this man visited the vet's office. Despite the fact that it seemed like this man didn't care for animals, Dimitra found out that he owned a pet store. To make things even more terrifying, the vet receptionist said his next thing to Dimitra. The reception said he was the owner of a pet store nearby and nobody was buying her. Apparently, he's dumped animals before, said Dimitra. Hearing this, her heart was broken because she realized that this man kept putting dogs to sleep if they didn't sell well. Something had to be done. Considering that Dimitra is the co-director of Social T's Animal Rescue, she couldn't resist from wanting to help the poor chihuahua. Let's see what was wrong with the poor puppy. The only thing out of the ordinary about this little chihuahua pup was the fact its legs were a little bent. This made walking difficult, but it wasn't something that serious. You won't believe what made Dimitra call her partners at the Social T's Animal Rescue. Even though the puppy seemed to be sad, she would start wagging her tail every time Dimitra talked to her. Dimitra's heart melted when this happened, and she knew that she needed to call her partners. Dimitra's partners agreed to take the cute chihuahua as soon as they saw her. They knew that she needed all the help that she could get because otherwise, her future would not look good. Let's see how the folks at the Social T's Animal Rescue named her. Dimitra and her partners took the white chihuahua to their rescue center. Not only that, but they also named her Clover. While Clover was happy to finally be rescued and avoid a grim death, Dimitra still needed to get her legs checked out. Knowing that Clover's legs are a little bent, Dimitra decided to take her to the vet and see if there's something wrong with her. You won't believe what the vet had to say. The vet closely checked up Clover and found out that she is in perfect health. Her bent legs were not a serious problem and Clover would learn to walk with them as she gets older. Let's move to the next slide and learn what Dimitra had to say next. She's not in any pain now and is already starting to walk better, said Dimitra. Seeing that Clover was not hurting was amazing. However, Dimitra's job didn't end here because she also needed to find an adoptive family. In order for Dimitra to make sure that Clover is safe and happy, she needed to find an adoptive family for her. What Clover really needed was love and affection because her life in the pet store was not a happy one. Another thing that Clover really needed was to make some new friends, maybe another chihuahua. You can imagine that being locked in the cage at the pet store was lonely and she needed to socialize with other dogs. Dimitra took pictures of Clover and posted them on the internet in hopes of finding a new family for her. Luckily, Clover's sad story and cuteness helped her find a new family in no time. Clover found a new family in no time. This was amazing to see, especially since the odds were stacked against her when she entered the vet's office. You won't believe how well Clover gets along with her new family. Despite coming from a pet store where people kept her in a cage, Clover loved being around people. She and her new family got along perfectly, especially since Clover loved getting belly rubs. Scroll down to see what the adoptive family had to say about Clover's bent legs. She has no idea that she is any different. She runs around and plays all day. Her tail won't stop wagging, is what the family said about Clover. It's amazing to see how well Clover got accustomed to her new family and that she isn't being held back by her leg problems. Truth be told, Clover was lucky to be spotted by Dimitra, but not all dogs share the same fate. Puppy mills are always filled with chihuahuas because they are small and expensive, but sadly, not all of them find new homes. Puppy mills are the worst thing ever and sadly, chihuahuas are the race which suffers the most. Their small size makes them ideal for puppy mills because they are easy to be held in cages and their cuteness makes them sell faster. On the bright side of things, at least there are hundreds of animal rights organizations which are working towards closing all puppy mills. Let's hope that people start adopting animals instead of buying them.